What's up, guys? Welcome to the HYL / IBA pre-show podcast. My name is Salman here, joined by Alykhan Bijani. What's going on, man?
Good. Nice to be with you, Salman.
And helping us out with the Dallas side of things is Alyaan, Lalani, a.k.a. Yen. How you doing, man?
Doing well, man. Super excited about this week.
Yeah, so this is kind of a strange tournament we're doing, right? So normally we do a national tournament, right? Like we do this type of a show for a national tournament, but we're doing a kind of a semi-regional. It's not a regional, though, because it's like we're having a captain from Dallas, a captain from Houston, and then it's a draft league, right? And I guess my question is, why are we doing it this way, right? Because like traditionally you would think if we're doing a regional tournament, if we're doing like a best of Texas, you get a team from Houston, or you get a couple teams from Houston, a couple teams from San Antonio, I mean maybe a Beaumont team, Clear Lake, Dallas, Austin, whatever, right? That's how you normally do a regional tournament. Why are we doing it this way? Why do you think this ended up being the play?
I think Dallas just has something for Houston, man. Every time Houston does something, Houston has tournaments all the time. Dallas is like, yeah, you know what? We want to have tournaments too. I honestly just think Dallas gets jealous of Houston and is like, let's do something with them. Honestly, I really don't know.
I mean, Yen, you care to comment on that?
Look, I just think that this is going to be a perfect tournament to kind of decide who the king of the court is at the end of the day.
But you got a team, or you got teams that are made up of Houston and Dallas guys. So how are you coming up with the king of the court? I feel like the whole purpose of this is to figure out who is better between Houston and Dallas.
Right. Like that's what I would think, right? Like that's why I'm so confused, right? Like I look at the Instagram posts and I'm excited, right? This is going to be a fun tournament. I'm excited. But I'm like, wait, so why aren't we doing Houston versus Dallas? Like, why aren't we doing a San Antonio?
I want Corpus Christi versus Tyler, man. That's what I want to go watch.
Why are we hiding our cards here, right? Like, it feels like, okay, like if everyone's confident in the team they can put together, if Houston's confident in the team they can put together, and Dallas is confident in the teams that they can put together, same thing with San Antonio, whoever, right? Why don't we just do it that way? And it feels like there's something under this. And I tend to believe everything that I'm hearing, everything that you've heard, Alykhan. Now listen, I don't mean to put you on the spot, Yen. It feels like there's something going on in Dallas, right? And listen, we started a bunch of smoke with the Dallas people last time we did a show like this, right? We got a lot of people coming at us, clipping us up, taking us out of context.
From Dallas.
God, I hate the out of context clips. You know, like we did not intend for that to happen. We were in a bunch of group chats, a bunch of tweets, right? It feels like we have started something here. It feels like we have poked a nerve that we did not intend to poke. We were just asking questions. Everyone here was just asking questions. And it feels like we have triggered something here. Yen, I guess you have to answer for all this. What's going on? Why are we doing it this way?
I mean, look, there has been a little bit of a shift in Dallas basketball, I would say, in the last year. We'll say from the last HYL turn, like last July, last summer, 2024.
Yeah.
That HYL tournament, there's been a big shift in Dallas basketball. I think the big shift was kind of influenced by Titans basketball being beat by Houston, finally.
So what you're suggesting is Houston may have crippled that Titans team in that second round matchup. Like that team took down, I mean, sorry for the pun, the Titans.
Yeah.
Right? So how does that happen? Right? Because, like, you would think, okay, like, that Dallas team was not that old. Right? Yeah, there are some older
young talent there.
Yeah, like, they have a lot of young talent there. We mentioned this last time. They had a bunch of teams in Dallas. How does a team with that much youth manage to cripple like that under pressure? Like, is it just that, like, there isn't an infrastructure there anymore? Is it just that there isn't leadership there anymore? Is it something else that's going on? Like, what's going on in Dallas? Yeah, take us through it.
It's a combination of a lot of different things from what I've heard. Number one, it was a leadership thing, right? We talk about a lot of their coaching fluidity that they had with Dallas basketball.
Okay. Fluidity, okay.
Yeah, and so they had Danish Pradhan as their coach in that tournament. He lost that tournament with the Titans, and then the Titans decided how how do we transition this thing, right? A lot of people were like, DP was the problem. Danish was the problem for that team.
Wow.
Then a lot of people, you have an influx of these Chicago basketball players moving to the Dallas area. So now Titans and this Dallas teams are thinking, how can we upgrade our teams?
By the way, let's clarify what's going on demographically in Dallas, right? Like, so you had a bunch of Smileys from Chicago come down and attend SMU and stay in Dallas after they graduated, right? So they're Dallas. They're Dallas people now, right?
Yeah.
So that changed the face of Ismaili basketball in that city. A lot of the better players are frankly not native Dallas people. They're
100%.
They're native Chicago people.
100%. It's that synergy team. So they had that team synergy from the Midwest, and a lot of their really talented players, because a lot of their original players, the original synergy squad, they got older. They're not performing the same, or they've just stopped playing. So now all of these young guys who were kind of the new faces of the team, they moved to Dallas, and it just completely changed the scope of what Dallas basketball is like now.
Yeah. So I don't like the idea of somebody being scapegoated, right? This idea that Danish was the problem, I don't believe that. I think there was something, there was likely more going on, right? And you just outlined
championships. He won rings, man. He went to international tournaments and won. I don't think you can put DP as your scapegoat here, man.
I agree with that.
Yeah. No, but you're right in that everything starts at the top, right?
Yeah.
And there's probably more he could have done. There's probably more that everyone could have done to keep this together. And what you're left with is a Dallas team, is a Dallas culture that is left to kind of put itself together here. And it starts with this tournament, right? Like, I feel like a lot of people are going to watch this Dallas tournament to see who comes out performing best here. And I think, honestly, whoever is going to be the next leader of Dallas basketball better watch this with a close eye and think about how he's going to put together this next team, right? Because how many players we have in this tournament? Like 100? Like around 100 players?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so half of them are Dallas players. You have 50 Dallas players. You're only needing like 30 of those guys to build two teams, like an A team and a B team, right? The next time they want to do a nationals or a regionals, or if they make it that internationals, right? You need to watch this tournament, right, to put together that next team. And that's kind of what the underlying theme of this weekend is going to be. And I feel like, honestly, like, that's the reason we're doing it this way. Like, that was my theory coming in. It's nice to hear you confirm it. It feels like a lot of drama happened there. They couldn't get their shit together, so we're having to do it for them, right? We're having to do it for them. We're doing the cute, one Houston captain, one Dallas captain. Let's go draft together, guys. And it feels very inauthentic. We're doing it this way. I'm sure it'll be fine. We're going to have a great tournament. There's no question in my mind this is going to be a competitive tournament, but it's going to be a little dramatic. It's going to be a little awkward. And there was awkwardness going on coming out of that very first draft. Shazam and Segi butting heads on who to draft in those first few rounds. Is this an issue? Is this something we have to look out for? Is this going to tear the fabric of that team apart? Because I feel like if you can't come out on the right foot, how do you land? Like what are you expecting to do come tournament time?
I mean, that team is full of a lot of kind of question marks. A lot of young guys who are looking to really prove themselves, who think that they're really good. They think that, hey, they're high quality scorers. They have a couple tall guys, big guys who are potentially going to be able to play well next to a guy like Shazam. It's just a bunch of question marks. And when you already have question marks about the leadership, and then you bring in question marks about the team you draft, that we've all seen it throughout all these tournaments. Question marks and bad chemistry lead to first-round exits. And in a situation like this where you're going and it's a single elimination tournament, I think they're going to be one of those first few teams that's kicked out in that first round. I really do.
I mean, yeah, and like, so can you like clarify what happened here? Like in the draft room, why couldn't these two get on the same page? What was the disagreement?
It came down to the first couple of picks, from what I heard, honestly. So their pick of Ali Barwani, 6'7" center in Dallas, tallest center in Dallas, great rim protector. lefty finisher, and then you have a young guy in Lalani, right? He's about a 17, 18-year-old kid, supposed to be one of the next ups in Dallas.
And someone like this, Shazam is just not going to know as much about, right? So this is clearly like a Segi pick.
A trust Segi move, basically.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm guessing it had to do with the age of Ryan, especially, and Ali. They're younger. AB is about 24 years old, so he's fine. But Ryan's, 17, 18 years old. So is he acclimated to a winning culture? I'll tell you this, is Segi and Ryan have won multiple tournaments together in Dallas. So they do have a very, very good chemistry together. But you guys are right. This tournament is going to come down to how everybody on the team coexists with each other. I want to bounce something off of what you said, Alykhan. This is probably this team carved with Sehan, Shazim, AB, Ryan. Honestly, it's one of the most talented teams on paper.
Yeah.
And literally the only issue, their last round pick as well, Samir Jessa. I mean, you compare a lot of these last round picks to one another. Samir Jessa plays basketball. He's good. He's able to score 15, 20 points if he wanted to in a game. He's played on teams with me where he's dropped 15, 20 points. So for a last round pick especially, that's a steal. And so on paper, that's a talented squad. Now the issue with this team is going to be
they got Naveed second to last, by the way.
Yes.
That's obviously because of the Achilles tear, right? Like we don't know how he's gonna look, but like to get him as your second to last pick, and this is a guy who was on nationals teams, right? You're right. There's a lot of talent here.
I got some sources. Sources have come and told me that if Naveed is able to play, he has talked to Kevin Durant about how to recover from an Achilles tear. And there is a very good possibility that when he's on the court, he's going to have a Kevin Durant type of resurgence. So just want to say that Naveed is in a good place to be that sixth man or potentially kind of closing lineup player for them who can help elevate their team to a chip.
And that's important, honestly, for that.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's important for that team is that who is going to close for that team, right? Because you have Sehan, you have Shazim, you have AB, you have Ryan. Now they picked Ishan Nathani in the 5th round of that tournament. That's the 3rd round of the tournament.
This team
he was a third round
huge,
pick.
by the way. It's such a big team.
A long team, a lot of wings.
There's a lot of big guys here. Go ahead.
Now, I can't play right now because I'm injured. But when I was playing, I know their 3rd round pick Ishan Nathani. We were playing off of him. We weren't even guarding him. So I don't know if he's going to close out games for them. So now is it going to come down to Samir, which I think, or you guys saying Naveed? I don't know Naveed very well, but I think it's going to come down to one of those two guys.
Hey, Barak is a young kid, man.
Well,
Barak could also close games too.
Let's save on Barak. I have some things to say about him. But yeah, go finish up real quick.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to come down to, and I don't know Barak very well, but I do know Ahad Varani. He's a young kid from Dallas as well, but I think it's going to come down to one of those, last round picks to step up and be in that clutch lineup for this team, whether it's Samir, whether it's Naveed, whether it's Barak, whether it's Ahad. Now, I have, like I said, I've played with Samir before, so I know what he's capable of, but if any of these other players, step up, they're going to need someone to step up in that last spot in that starting lineup or in that closing lineup for them.
Yeah, so this is what I'll say. I trust Shazam, right? He's my brother, but like I also just don't think he cares about drama, right? I just don't think it's going to be an issue, right? I think this team is talented enough to go through all that stuff, but I also just think that they're a giant team.
They are.
And that matters in Ismaili basketball tournaments, right? It's arguably the reason Dallas has dominated these tournaments forever, right? They're just always the biggest team. And that rebounding advantage is always going to be there in every game that they play. And this, I did want to transition because, Alykhan, you touched on Barak. He is my steal of the draft, right? We can talk about steals of the draft. Barak is my steal of the draft. I watched this kid in multiple little league tournaments. He was consistently one of the better players. He is still one of the consistently better younger players in Ismaili basketball, particularly the Houston division. I feel like the only reason he fell this far is because of youth. A lot of these guys, go through a bunch of steals and just say, yeah, this guy only fell this far because he's young. That's the only reason this guy got picked in the 6th, 7th, 8th round, whoever you want to name. But Barack in particular, the guy's a really good rebounder. I mean, he's smart. He's really, really smart. A good talent. He's a good screener too. He's a willing screener, right? Like, and that kind of stuff carries a lot of weight, especially in terms of winning Ismaili basketball. He's not going to be asked to score. He doesn't have to score, right? And I don't know. Like, I tend to believe this team, because of what happened on draft night, could be overlooked, but we'll see. Any other steals stick out to you guys, by the way? Like, draft night, you had a lot of names fall in the draft that were pretty, eyebrow raising. I thought Barack was one of them. Anyone stick out to you?
Yeah, and like if I can, on power bags, I got two guys who I think are really good and I think play well in their roles. I think it can really stick out. One is Saim Nayani. I think Nasaim has always been a good glue guy. He's a good wing to be able to have to round out a closing five, right? And the next is Khalil Nanji. I've heard a lot of really good things about him in terms of his ability to be a great defender. And we talked about this in Ismaili basketball, Salman. Rebounding and length is important, but also the ability to just be around the ball and poke the ball away and create turnovers in transition. I mean, that's a skill, and a lot of people are talking about Khalil as one of those guys who can really create and spark a fast-paced offense. So when you have a guy like Cheyenne and Ishan on that team, when you have Shafin Momin, you have Rolo in transition who can knock down a walk-up three, having a guy who can create those turnovers is really important. And I think for where you got him in that 5th round is a great steal for power bags.
No, I agree with that. And then also on the Dallas side, outside of what I said for Segi's team, this team, the 67ers with Ali Kabani and Abid Ali as captain, I think they got a big steal with Awais Charania in the 4th round. This guy is a big who can stretch the floor. He sets picks, so you can split good minutes with him and Abid. But for Ali Kabani, he's a guard from Dallas, capable of scoring 30, 35 any game. He fits in very, very well with a player like Awais Charania, who loves to pass the ball to his shooters, kick out to his shooters. He can spread the floor. He also rolls very well for a big, and he is a fantastic rebounder for his size. So I think this right here is the steal of the draft for that team. And then I think you have FaZe Charania, who actually is his cousin on No Giddy. He was also drafted, I believe, in the 4th round, and he is one of the best defenders in this tournament. He can guard 1 through 5. That's the one unique thing about him. He also plays on a team with me, and he can guard 1 through 5. He's about a 6'2", 6'3" guy who can just move really quickly. And the only downside to him is his jump shot, but everything else, he's a great finisher in tournaments. He can bring the ball up, and he can defend well. I think that's a steal in the draft as well. But those two, the two Charanias, I think are fantastic players that got overlooked in this draft.
On the 67ers, real quick, and I think the one thing about Awais that's really important, you have a guy like Abid who's probably going to kind of take his time to make sure that he's staying healthy for the playoffs, and having somebody who can play well and has chemistry with Ali Kabani already is really important. So I think for that team in particular, having those two guys there and ways to kind of plug into Abid's place if needed is very important. I think you bring up a great point about him being a steal.
Yeah, that depth is so necessary, especially in that regular season, so that Abid can stay fresh for the playoffs.
Okay, biggest reach. I'm just going to let you guys go with it. I feel like I have someone here to defend. So let's hear it. Who do you guys think was the biggest reach in the draft? You can say it. Listen, we don't hold back here. We don't hold back here. If you're going to do this show, you better not hold back. Alykhan, who's the biggest reach in the draft?
Come back to me. I have a few names, but I haven't picked yet.
You guys are going to disagree with me on this one, but I actually think Nanu was a huge reach for where he got drafted, New Head. Okay. I think, early 2nd round pick compared to who he got drafted over, I think he's with a captain in Sahil Panjwani. Sahil Panjwani is a small point guard, but he is one of the best players in Dallas. He can score, facilitate, do everything. Him and Sehan are known as, 2 of the best players in Dallas right now. But the problem with Sahil is he's an undersized guard, and he drafted an undersized guard at the beginning of the second round. And Nanu, I think there was a lot of better picks you could have gotten in that round. I know Nanu's a great shooter. I've played with him before. I know he can, he can score the heck out of the ball.
Yeah.
I just think that there was better players you could have gotten in that position.
So I agree with the fit concerns, right? But I will say this: Nuhaid plays big. He plays big, right? And he has a lot of energy, really quick, right? And it's not just that he gets into the paint; it's that he gets his boards, right? Like he plays above his size. It's a cliche, but it's true with him. And I may be a little biased. I did coach him when he was 16. Like the guy is good, and every single tournament I've seen him on, this is always the conversation with him. He got picked too high every single time, and then you see him play, and it's like, oh no, never mind. He got picked right around where he should have got picked. No, now can you say they may have picked somebody who was better fitting for their team? Sure. I don't know if you could say there was a better player, though, that you can say clearly, yeah, that guy's better than Nuhaid. That rarely happens. Every time we do this thing with Nuhaid, when there's a draft, when there's like he gets picked early, right? And there's usually a reason he gets picked early, and he always gets docked for the size, right? The guy is small, right? He's a small guy. Yeah, but he's really, really freaking good, right? And he makes up for the size. So I just tend to believe that, and you're not the only person saying this, by the way. A lot of people believe that Nuhaid was a reach. I don't agree that he was picked too high. Maybe you could say he was not a good fit for this team, but I think he deserved to get picked where he was picked.
Early second round is tough though. I mean, for me personally, I just there's a lot of Dallas players I may have picked over him. Like a couple of those steals I was telling you about. Me personally, I would have picked them over Nuhaid. And that's just, again, bold opinion, whatever that is. But that I would have picked, FaZe Charania, FaZe Shalwani. I would have picked Awais Charania over him. I would have picked Ryan Gilani over him, even though that wouldn't have been that great of a fit on that team. But Ryan Gilani over him. I have a couple of names that I would have definitely picked over him.
Yeah, I mean, listen, like Nuhaid's going to have a lot of ammo going into this tournament because a lot of people feel this way, and this clip is obviously going to reach him at some point. Yeah. But listen, Nuhaid, I believe in you, right? I think you're better than a lot of these guys that he's listing off. I think you're no one's going to regret drafting you where you got drafted. We'll see who ends up being right. Play this clip back in 2 weeks.
I have faith in Nuhaid too. I just
doesn't sound like it. It does not sound like it.
As an offensive player, can he lock in defensively? I don't know. I think he's going to be a liability defensively for that team.
Okay. Alykhan, who's your reach? Is it Nuhaid? Were you nervous to say Nuhaid?
No, it's not Nuhaid. And it's tough because the Dallas kids I'm still getting to know, and I've tried my best to talk to as many folks in Dallas as I can. So I'm going to focus on some Houston guys. And these are two kids who I really like. I just think that for what you want in a second or third round pick,
we're doing a lot of couching here. But both of you guys, you're doing a lot of couching. Okay, all right, go ahead.
So honestly, for me, there's two: it's Sahil and Ishan. So Sahil Venkan, Ishan Nathani. I think you have two guys who are very tall, who are clearly bigs, but I think if you're going to draft a big at that level, you need somebody who's going to rebound effectively and be able to create opportunities. I think there are some other bigs who were drafted after them who I would have drafted instead. And there's some good, like, for example, Yen mentioned Samir Jessen. I'm not saying Samir is going to be a third or fourth round pick, but he is somebody who I think can be serviceable as your backup big. You have Hussein Manesia, who I think is so strong and athletic and can really create multiple possessions for you as a team. There's guys you can take in that third round who are going to shape out your roster and kind of be specialists and dang good specialists in what they're doing. And so for that reason, yes, Ishan's very good, Sahil's very good, but you have to have guys who are specialists in their role, I think, at a certain point, and I would have taken those guys. a couple young guys. I would have taken Barak, honestly, even ahead of them because I believe in Barak. I would have taken Hanan Visnani because I really believe in his shooting. I mean, there's some guys who I think were taken in the bottom half of the draft who I would have taken in those spots instead. But I understand what the coaches were thinking, but that's kind of what I'm looking at as a bit of a reach.
So every year we go into these draft leagues, and everyone's like, "Man, the teams are so balanced, right? Like, yeah, who is the favorite? Guys, how can you possibly pick a winner here? It's all BS. Because after 4 games, we figure out who the favorite is.
Yeah,
and that's probably going to be the case here. And we're all eyeing a team, right? And I guess let's start with you, Yen. In your mind, who is the favorite to win this tournament? When you look at the guys on paper, who do you like?
This tournament is a very well-balanced tournament, and I'm not just saying that to be politically correct,
Salman,
but I'm just...
He did it. Mm-mm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. I'm willing to hear it out. Let's see what you got.
I will say my number 1 team is going to be heating up with Raheem Himani and Rakhine as captain.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually really, really like the way Rakhine plays.
He's good.
The game. He is super solid. One of my favorite young players to watch play, and he's a tough player to guard as well. So I like that. But I think Raheem, just with his height advantage, is always going to be a benefit for any team that he's on. Their first round pick, Amr Koja. He's part of the Chicago takeover of Dallas. He is someone who could score at will. He can score 25, 30 points whenever he wants to. They have solid bigs in Sahil Javani. And, they have Sahil Khurji, who's like that Tony Allen presence, who is 37 years old, but he's probably going to be the guy in the best shape on that team. And in the whole tournament, in fact. And then you have depth pieces like Shamez Arab, Kuram Rupani is a shooter from Dallas. Like, these are all players who can play the game the right way. I think Raheem and Rakhine drafted really, really well. That would be my de facto favorite to win this tournament.
Bro, they have a guy on their team whose comparison for himself was Mason Plumlee. I don't want to hear it, man. And go into the tournament with confidence. Don't call yourself Mason Plumlee. Seriously.
Hey, Mason Plumlee had some... And Alykhan, I know you know this. Mason Plumlee had some great moments in college, before he became the left-handed free throw shooter.
If you are playing in Smiley basketball, you need to be confident in yourself. There's people calling themselves LeBron, Kobe, Shaq. You got to be calling yourself that. You can't be calling yourself, I'm the Mason Plumlee of my team or the league. What is this?
Yeah, no, I understand what you're
saying. You don't
saying,
go on 2K and play Mason Plumlee.
Yeah, no one's played with Mason Plumlee, but I'm telling you, every team needs a Mason Plumlee on their team. Every team needs a prime Mason Plumlee on their team. Defend, does the intangibles, finish around the rim, be a little bit of a
Has Mason Plumlee ever won a championship?
Hold on. Can we at least name who compared themselves? I'm so lost. Who compared themselves to Mason Plumlee?
Sahil Jawani, their big man.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Sahil Jawani, their big man, 6'4" big man, compared himself to Mason Plumlee. Honestly, to me, fantastic comparison, and that's what this team needs. Because look, you have a big man like Raheem, who, I hate to say it, but he's soft a little bit. For a 6'7", 6'8" big man, he does not play as hard. He does not roll to the basket as well as he needs to, and especially at the age he is now, he just doesn't move the same way he used to. So he needs a big next to him who does all those intangibles, and Sahil is that big. And I'm telling you, this is a great fit because you have Amr Koja and Rakhine. That's the best backcourt in this tournament.
Agreed. I agree with that, actually. I do agree. That's the best backcourt.
That's the best backcourt, and then you round it up with Sahil Khurji or Shamez Arab. If you need more spacing on the court, you get Shamez Arab on the court. If you need someone with more grit, grind, you have Sahil Khurji on the court. But this team is built to win.
Okay, I'll go next here. I have it as a toss-up between 2 teams. I think it's either Windy City or Power Bags. Those are the 2 teams that stick out to me. And it's not just that these are 2 Houston-heavy teams, right? It is the case that there are a lot of Houston guys on there. But I think Cheyenne's a little underrated. I think he's a little underrated. I feel like he's probably one of the better players in his Smiley basketball. But because he's as big as he is, right? He's forced to play these complementary roles, and now he's a cap, right, on a team that I think he's probably the best player of. I think we're gonna see something from him this tournament. Like I think he's in position to be like one of the better performers of the tournament. His team is well rounded. You got Rolo, you got Ishan as a first round pick, which I really like. Like, it's a well rounded team on that side. And then for Windy City, I mean, I think we'll get into this. Zane's really good, right? Zane's really good. We'll get into him later. Obviously Raymond's good. And their last few picks, right? Like they have a lot of size. Like they have a lot of size, and they don't really need to worry about closing the hole for anything. It's a well-rounded team, and I guess if I had to pick one between these two, I'd probably pick Windy City, but I wouldn't overlook Power Bags. I wouldn't look or overlook Power Bags at all.
And Windy City does have the best catch and shoot shooter as well in Salman Lalani.
Yeah.
So I think that team is built really well. I think Zane.
They're just big. They're a huge team, but also they're not. It's not like a cramped floor or anything. Like everybody can shoot, right?
Yeah.
And I think I think it's gonna. I think they're probably my favorite if I had to pick one. Alykhan, any team sticking out to you?
I just think it's really funny because we did not talk about this beforehand, but I also had Windy City and Power Bags 1 and 2 with Windy City 1 and Power Bags 2. But I do want to bring up another team that I think is up there as well. It's going to be a contender. Wouldn't surprise me if they win. And I would love to talk about their captains because I think it's a very interesting story. It's Brook Boys. I think ultimately defense is going to win you a lot of games. It'll be low scoring. It'll be, hey, let's score in transition, half court offense, all those different things. I think Brook Boys has that there. You have Shanif and Ada, who I think can really play well off each other. And then you have some really good complementary guys. And then, oh, by the way, you have Mr. Shaq himself, Johnny Madwani, who I think was a great pick towards the second to last pick of the draft. I don't know, man. I just...
Oh, can we stop right there? So I feel like if we're going to ever have a Smiley Basketball Hall of Fame, we need to place Johnny's ass in there. Like, his... By the way, if you've ever played against him, it is made of steel. Like, it is unpleasant. He's the most sweaty dude. Like, to box him out is uncomfortable. Getting him in the 8th round is a... I mean, I don't want to say it's like a no-brainer steal, but, I mean, it's great value. It is great value to get him in the 8th round. I have my qualms about this team. I feel like you share them, Yen. I'll start with Shanif because that's the guy I know. I love he is arguably, put Zool aside, right? He is arguably the most talented player in Smiley basketball. He's arguably the most talented player in Smiley basketball. And I don't think I'm saying anything controversial. I think Shanif knows this. The problem, it reminds me of prime James Harden in that it's overstated, right? How much like people overstate the playoff stuff, right, with him, right? Like is there something there? Yeah, but it's not like it's not got no show type thing in the playoffs. There's just something always missing. You always want a little bit more with him come playoff time. Yeah, he's won a tournament as one of the main guys, but he wasn't the best player in that final game, right? Like that's the thing. Like he also won a national tournament. He played well in that national tournament, but like again, he wasn't the best player. He wasn't the driving force. There's just like a softness there, right? There's a lack of aggression there. He doesn't fully like just give me the ball and get the fuck out the way because I'm the best player on this court. He doesn't do that enough.
Just say it how it is. I mean, he chokes in the big moments.
I see that's where I think it goes one too far, right? Like I would love to say that, right? I would love to say it. It gets clicks and like people would interact with it. I don't feel that way about Shanif. I just feel like he takes his foot off the gas. Like again, like I don't think James Harden chokes. I think he is a bit of a front runner, right? When things are going well, Shanif's awesome to have on your team. When your back is against the wall, I'm not sure if I want Shanif on my team.
So then what defines a choke? Because I think that it's not just missing shots or anything like that. It's stepping up in those big moments, right? Mm-hmm. And for me, I'm kind of on the same page where I do have some qualms with this team because this team, they drafted very well.
Yeah.
They drafted a team that fits very well together, but the problem are the two captains. Shanif doesn't win in Houston, And Adil is the same version of him in Dallas. Ever since Adil has become a captain, he's won nothing.
Only
They-
one playoff
they
game
should be
since
the-
he became commissioner.
They should be the favorites. Like, we shouldn't be talking about Windy City, right? It should
Yeah.
be it should be Broke Boys.
Broke boys.
100%.
But the thing holding us back is Shanif and Adil,
Yeah.
right? And that should be the reason we should be putting them number one, because those guys are so talented. It's disappointing, and like honestly, like these two have the most to prove out of anyone, because nobody's taking them seriously. Alykhan, you and I are talking to everybody before we do these shows, right? We're talking to get opinions, right? Nobody has told us that they favor Broke Boys, that this is the team to
None.
beat. Nobody.
None.
Like
This is
not
just me
one
honestly
person.
saying it. This is me
Not-
honestly saying it. Nobody's told me.
Not one person has told me, yeah, Shanif has the best team. Not one person. And it's like it's going to go overlooked, but we need to highlight it here. These two guys have so much to prove. Like, they need to at least, I mean, if they're not one of the Final Four, it's going to be a disappointment. If they're not in the finals, they should view it as a disappointment. They should be in the finals. They should be. They're not going to be. I'm not going to place them there. You're not going to place them there, Alykhan. I'm guessing, Yen, you're not going to put them there either.
I have them as first round exits.
That's the thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
I probably think they're going to get out in the second round, but I don't blame anyone for saying, yeah, I'm not even sure if they're going to win a game. I'm not even sure if because there's just that last lack of aggressiveness there. Like, and again, like I think Shanif can do it all, right? Like, everyone talks about Rakeen being one of the best shooters in Somali basketball. Shanif's his cousin, and he's just as good,
Yeah.
right? And he's really good off the dribble, right? And he's quick. He's big for a guard, right? He's like 6'1",
100%,
6'2", whatever he is, right? Like last time I saw him, I forgot how big he was. Right?
He's so long. He gets steals all the time when he is committed defensively. In the half-court setting, when he's playing defense and he's locked in, he will create turnovers. But, Salman, to your point, do we see that consistently enough for us to be able to believe?
It is. He is the James Harden of Ismaili basketball. Like I can't put it any better way. It's a compliment at the same time. It is a, it's a snub a little bit, right? Because
it's a double-edged sword, man.
Harden at his prime was arguably the best player in basketball, but the problem is, come playoff time, it didn't matter, right? And, man, it's so frustrating. It is so frustrating, and for the longest time, it felt like, is this Houston team going to make it far on a national stage? They made it far on a national stage, but I wouldn't say the linchpin was Shanif. It was his teammates.
Yeah.
Which we're going to talk about in a second. Those guys carried that team to a national victory, right? In 2024. Not Shanif. Shanif played well, but not in the way that he should. He should have taken over. In the moments that Dallas made a run, he should have been the guy carrying them out of it. Not like he was playing bad, but just not aggressive enough, not forceful enough.
And guys, I have another concern about this team. I just don't know how Adil and Shanif's chemistry is going to be offensively. You guys probably don't know much, but like about Dallas, like and about how Adil plays. But Adil puts a lot of pressure on himself as a captain every single time. And when he puts a lot of pressure on himself as a captain, what does he do? He forces up shots. He makes turnovers. He forgets to defend. He doesn't help. On paper, he's supposed to be one of the best defenders, one of the best offensive players, but he truly disappears because of the amount of pressure he puts on himself. Now, is the amount of shots that he's going to force going to affect how Shanif plays with him? Is it going to affect Shanif's ability to, want to play with him, his want to win, his willingness to win? And then you have Zoe, Koja, Ursh. All of these guys know how Adil plays. Like, are all of these guys going to be happy playing with Adil? That's another thing. There's so much about this team that it just yells first round exit to me. And on top of that, these two captains just haven't won anything meaningful.
Yeah, they have the most to prove, in my opinion. I mean, if there's anyone else sticking out at you, like, you guys can feel free to pitch in. I feel like it's 1 and 2, Shanif and Adil. They happen to be on the same team.
I agree. They do have the most to prove. I I don't think they'll prove it this tournament.
But I did personally pick them to be potentially, like I mentioned to you, Salman, you and I both had the same 1-2 on paper. But I don't know, man. Something about Broke Boys, the way their team is constructed, ideally, obviously, like things have to work out and they have to come clutch in those moments. But the way it's set up on paper, the way defensively they're going to be late in games, and just how we know in Ismaili basketball, there's a lot
And
of late game
offensively,
situations.
right? Like
Yeah,
they're
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. But when I need them to get a stop, when I need them to draw fouls and not foul themselves, I trust Brook Boys. And so me trusting them is different than them coming through in the clutch, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I think my biggest thing is my lack of trust, right? It's not that like I don't think they're talented. It's just I don't think they're going to perform well enough to make a deep run here. But we'll see. I hope they prove us wrong, because it'd be great if Shanif had an awesome tournament. Like he hasn't had that one tournament to like mark it down, right? Mark himself, cement himself. It'd be great to see that.
Shanif is like the Rockets against the Warriors, always knocking on the door, always there, always get the opportunity.
Yeah.
But can never come through when they need to. Absolutely.
Okay. So, any sleepers sticking out to you? Like so we named who we think is the favorite to win. Is there someone we haven't talked about that's like, maybe we should have?
I think it's the 67ers, man.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I think Ali Kabani and Abid put together a team that could make noise if all these pieces kind of work together. I think Keon is another young piece from Houston that plays really well. You have Awais Charania, like I said, and just Kabani himself. Ali Kabani is a guy who can score. Think of him as like the Devin Booker of Ismaili basketball. This guy has come into tournaments as a replacement in Dallas and literally played one game, dropped 34 points, and then that's the game he was needed for, and he didn't play the next game. So like he can score whenever he's asked to score. He can pass whenever he's asked to pass, and I think he has one of the best basketball IQs in this tournament. And I think they drafted very well.
Yeah, there's no bad players here. Like even Moy is like that's a good pickup in the eighth round. Excuse me. Like that's pretty good. Like and like normally every one of these teams has someone to work around talent wise. I don't see that here on paper for the 67ers. And I think really what's holding, I can just speak for myself, but I suspect it's the same for you guys. What's holding me back is something I feel embarrassed about. It's the youth, right? It really is. Like they're leaning so heavily on ISO elite guys, right? Guys who were in a different age bracket in internationals. But these guys also won internationals, and they played really well in nationals, right? Like this idea that we shouldn't at this point trust them whenever consistently, whenever they've come to that next stage, they performed. Maybe I'm wrong here. In I it's very possible these guys are ready. It's very possible. Yeah, it's very possible.
I think they are. I think Cheyenne is going to have a coming out party. Cheyenne Ali is going to have a coming out party for the 67ers. He is one of the next great young bigs to come out of Ismaili basketball. I think he just plays bigger. He just plays smart. He plays big. I really like him a lot. Keon is fantastic. I mean, all of their young guys are just so good. And that when you infuse that with Abid, who's going to bring a great veteran presence, and Ali Kabani, I just feel like it's a great team. And I think Yen is right. This is definitely going to be my sleeper as well. I do want to bring up another kind of youth team.
Well, can we finish up real quick on this?
Yeah.
I feel like they played it smart in that they went with like a high risk, high reward kind of draft strategy, right? Like they went like either we're going to win this whole thing, or we're gonna fall short because our youth is gonna push us down, right? Like it feels like a very calculated, like because again, like it's young guys, like it's young guys riddled throughout the roster. That doesn't feel like accidental. It feels like I'm gonna get my best value going after these young guys, and I'm probably gonna win on that value or I'm gonna lose. But I'm not gonna waste my pick drafting a vet that's probably just good enough to justify the position I'm drafting him in. I'd rather take someone young that could become like a first round player next year.
And they can all shoot.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing over here.
Yeah.
Sources are telling me Abid is, stretching the floor out a little bit more than he used to, which is a big deal because when you're playing bigs like Raheem Himani, Ali Barwani, how are you going to space the floor to get them out of the paint so that your drivers like Ali Kabani, so that someone like Keon can get a good can start, driving in, draw fouls inside without the presence of a rim protector there. So I think because everybody can shoot on this team, if all their shots are falling, this team is a team to watch out for.
Abid is like the slow-mo of bigs for Somali basketball. Like it throws you off the way how he moves on the court. But it's all effective. It's all efficient moves, right? Like, but it's just like the way that he moves, it throws people off. And they're gonna. We talked about earlier. They're gonna be conservative in terms of how they use him up until the playoffs. But I mean, he is one of the better performers when he is healthy. The issue is always health, right, with him. And we'll see if he. I hope he maintains that health. Yeah, I mean that's a good pick. Alykhan, you had someone else.
Yeah, I want to bring up ISO territory. We haven't really talked about them at all, but I do like the makeup of their team. I think Izan is another one of those young guys who plays extremely well, is a good guard, and I think he's going to really excel next to a guy like Alyaan Sunestra, who I think I didn't bring him up as an underrated player or a sleeper player, but I think Alyaan is so good, and just he's on a meteoric rise when it comes to Somali basketball. I think he's going to also have a coming out party as well. I know I brought up Sahil being drafted a little too high, but Sahil is still a really good player. And I think having a guy like that who's a big, who can still help Ali Koja and Izan and Amil get around, I think is really important. And they just have really good kind of young guys on their bench. They have Alyaan, they have Akiz, who I think nobody's talking about. Akiz is one of those also young guys who I think is trying to prove himself with the elders, but he is somebody who can shoot lights out of the basketball. So I think their team has a good mix of players, and if they can gel and put it together, they all have their strengths. I think they can be a team that competes in that second round and potentially could, if they have a good shooting night, go on and to make that third round championship.
And this team looks really, really good in terms of just their size. I think their captain Ali Koja also he's someone who can play every position. He can bring the ball up, but this guy can bruise you like a 4 or a 5. And then they have the best offensive big in Dallas, and Amil. I think he has the best touch around the rim. So you're right. This team is built to be a good sleeper, and I think even their late round picks, Faiz Rajwani, he's a guy who could stretch the floor out and finish very well. And then they got a shooter in Sharik Chagani too, who can spread the floor out. So and Sharik's a younger guy too. He's 21 years old. I think this team is built very well with kind of their core pieces, and then they're very deep. That's what I'll say. Is they're a very, very deep team.
Okay, so let's end on this because this is always the segment that gets the most interactions on social media. Yeah. But it is a fun topic to talk about, especially when you have all these guys in a tournament of this kind of format where everyone's not really trying to play team basketball because they really need more of themselves. Mm-hmm. The best player in Texas, right? And arguably the best player in Texas is the best player in Somali basketball. That's usually how these things work out. But let's just keep it best player in Texas. I guess I'll go first. Like, see, like, Zul is really like the Shaq of Ismaili basketball right now, right? In that I would love to say that he is clearly the best player in Ismaili basketball, but it is very much like 2004 Shaq. Shaq was the best player in the world when he wanted to be the best player in the world. I don't know if Zul wants to be the best player in the world right now, or of Ismaili basketball. Like that's the nice way of putting it, right? I don't know if he really wants to be that guy right now. Maybe next year, maybe 2 years from now, he'll be back in this conversation. I think he's kind of taking a little bit of a back seat here, and I think, to me, I said it in the last show after the tournament. It stuck out to me. I think it's Zane. I think it's Zane Magnogia. It's the reason I'm picking Windy City to win this whole thing. He is so good, man, and there is not something that he is lacking on the basketball court. He can shoot. He's very fast. Again, the fact that he kept his quickness after the ACL tear is so surprising to me.
Mm-hmm.
He is in the big moments. He steps up all the time, right? He is a good passer, right? And like, there's not really a clear hole. Like, he also gets a lot of steals, by the way. Like, he gets a lot of sneaky steals, like hand in the cookie jar kind of moments, right? And he'll run the transition. He'll start the transition for his team. I think he's the best player in Ismaili basketball. Shanif, I mean, he should be in this conversation. We mentioned the reasons he's not, right? We mentioned the reasons he's not. Cheyenne, I think, is kind of someone we don't talk enough about from the Houston side. Like, I think, again, like, this could be a nice coming out party for him, right? If he has that kind of a tournament, this could be that kind of a coming out party for him. But yeah, I end up here with Zane. Where do you guys fall?
Yeah, and what do you think?
I'm gonna go with Sahil Panjwani, captain of No Giddy, and it's pretty funny how we're talking about this because that's the team we've talked about the least, but we just mentioned both of their captains in Zul and Sahil. But Sahil is a point guard. He starts for Titans, and he can do everything. He can defend, he can finish, he can shoot. He's quick. I think that he wins. That's the biggest thing for me is that he's won multiple times at the big stage, and he's only 24 years old, or 25. Sorry, he just turned 25 years old. So I have Sahil as my de facto number one, and then I do have Segi right there with him as one of the best players in Texas as well, just because this guy is long, one of the best rebounding guards. He can finish at will, can shoot. And he's just a fantastic defender, and he can jump with the best of them. So I have Sahil as my number one, and I'll give Segi a good 1B right there.
Okay. So I've had Shanif for a long time as my number one, but for the sake of this conversation, I'm going to mention two: one Houston, one Dallas. For me, for Houston, and I think he will have his coming out party, and that's Cheyenne. I think Cheyenne is spectacular. He is so crafty and so good, and I think that people will finally see him in this kind of 1A role to be able to really, be that guy on offense, and he's going to deliver. And I think in the clutch moments with veterans on his team who are going to empower him, you have Ishan who's going to get him in the right spots. You have Rolo whose veteran presence is going to help him see the floor better and understand what he's going to have to go through defensively with the different zones and alignments we'll see. I just think Cheyenne's going to have a coming out party. He's going to end up being the number one player. But I want to mention from Dallas, I think Segi's he's that guy in Dallas to me. And I'm really curious to see with that team, with all that talent, we talked about them earlier, but he is so good. I feel like just his presence on the court for a Carved is really going to elevate them. And then you bring in Shazim, who I feel really high about, always have since he was younger. I just
should we talk about Shazim in this conversation, or is that putting him too high?
No, I think you can talk about him in this conversation. I think he's definitely has a chance to crack that top five. But for me, the two I just mentioned, those to me are kind of like that 1-2 combination, and kind of both representing the specific regions we're talking about.
And I haven't watched Cheyenne play very much, but I can tell you guys that the captain that he's paired up with, you guys talk about how Zul he's kind of taken a back seat a little bit, gotten a little bit of out of shape.
I never said that. I'm not trying to get in trouble here. I'm not.
I'll say that and the reason why I'll say that is because Mustafa Ali, he was the best player in Texas by far. This guy, especially back in college, was 1-to-1 with Shanif. Them two always used to go at it. He also got a little bit out of shape, but he used to win all the time in Dallas leagues. Now, what he's doing now, he's more of a facilitator type player. So I think with the way you guys are talking about Cheyenne, I think playing with a guy like Staffa actually opens up a lot for him as well, because Staffa can score when you need him to score, but now he's more of a complimentary number two player. He doesn't want to be that number one player anymore on the team. So if Cheyenne is who y'all say he is, then yeah, this is the perfect opportunity for him to show, hey, this is my time to show that I'm the number one player, and he has the perfect complement to do that with Mustafa.
Yeah, I really feel like there is nothing lacking in his game, right? It is just he hasn't had the opportunity to because he's played with the guys who have the ball in their hands more, right? Like Zane, right? Or anybody on that Clutch City team, to be honest. Like, they had a lot of ball handlers that they didn't need Cheyenne to be that guy. Cheyenne played a very good role. He was actually really good in that final game, too.
Yep.
But he has never had to be this guy. And I'm excited to see him in this role. Not to say he hasn't been, like, the best player on a team in Ismaili basketball. Like, of course he has. But, like, this kind of a tournament is kind of the biggest stage. He will be that kind of a dude. So it is going to be interesting to see if he can deliver up to that standard. Like I'd like to roll the dice on him. Shazam, he's my brother. We'll talk about him for a little bit. So the one thing that always holds him back, right, is he always seems to draft a crap load of guards, and he has to end up playing big, and it takes away his legs, right? I like the team he's drafted now because I think he won't have to do that anymore. And
he won't.
Yeah. And I think he'll be able to be the shooter that he can be without that. And you know he's had tournaments where he was the best player in the tournament, right? So
absolutely,
I think he is totally on the table. It's not that I didn't want to mention him. It's just that we haven't seen him in that kind of a context in a couple of years. So we'll see. We'll see if he's
I'll
able.
tell you, as a player who's played against his team, that's the two players that we always plan for, Shanif and Shazam.
Yeah.
So Shazam's always in that conversation, and that as the best player on that team that we have to plan for him.
Yeah.
One thing about this tournament that I think is really going to help drive this conversation is you're having guys who have been complementary players or we've always had stacked teams, right, play in these national tournaments. Now you're having to kind of split them apart and put them in roles they haven't been in before, maybe, right?
Yeah. Right.
This is going to allow you to see, can they do that? Can they be put in positions to be successful in these types of roles? And I'm so excited to watch and see. I think it's really going to prepare us for, inshallah, whenever all these players are playing in the international games and all these kind of big tournaments coming up, we're going to figure out, hey, for this next generation of Ismaili basketball here in the United States, and particularly from Texas, who are going to be our leaders? Who are going to be the guys who are starting? Who are going to be the guys that are initiating offense, scoring, getting others in positions to be successful? I think that's what I'm going to be viewing this as a celebration of Texas basketball, and something we can all really just kind of get excited about and get behind with on our ways to the next international tournament.
What I liked about like the last big tournament, right? It really did feel like a kind of a passing of the guard, right? Like that last generation, they made the finals and it was a valiant effort, but like we knew it was Clutch City's time, right? They had been knocking on the door, and now it's them. Like this is their playground, right? Shanif, Shazim, Cheyenne, Zane, like all these. This is their generation, right? And they're still in their prime. I think I'd like to see if these younger guys who were drafted kind of in the third and fourth rounds, like ISO Elite, if they can kind of make some noise here. And once it does come time for that next big tournament that you're talking about, Alykhan, can we see one of these teams, one of these players, like highlight that next team, right? Because it's not uncommon for the A team coming out of Houston or Dallas to pick up a young guy. It happens all the time. Like to pick up a 16-year-old or an 18-year-old or a 21-year-old, whatever. That happens all the time. And oftentimes those guys are helpful. So we'll see if these guys can it's kind of an audition for those kinds of roles. And for Dallas, for sure, this is kind of a rebuilding period for them, right? They have to see who their stars are, who fits well together, who plays well in certain positions. And that next generation, like, listen, like, as much as I'd love to shit on Dallas or, like, laugh at, like, their funeral, right? Like I'd love to do all that. It's not as fun if there's no Dallas-Houston rivalry. It's not fun. I want to see a dominant Dallas team. So I'd like to see the players that compose that next dominant Dallas team.
Yeah, homegrown guys, not from Chicago. Homegrown young guys. That's what I want to see.
Listen, like, if the SMU guys are truly the best guys, I don't care if they're homegrown. Like listen, they're living there. That's their city, right? Like if they are those guys, like, hey, have a good tournament, like, show up. let's see whoever that next leadership whatever that next leadership structure looks like.
Mm-hmm.
They should really take notes here at this tournament and like really decide from who performs well here, who gets to be on that next great Dallas team.
But that's what it looks like. It looks like the kind of the last 10, 15 years was a lot of Dallas Titans taking, nationals and all of that stuff. And now as all of these guys are moving out of their prime, and now you're looking at all these 16, 17, 18, 19-year-old kids, there's a big gap. I could see Houston being that team for the next 10, 15 years just with what we've been seeing.
You think that we're in for like a little bit of a dark ages for Dallas?
I just look at I'm a results oriented person, so I'm looking at how the captains are built up in this tournament, right? There are a lot of young ISO elite guys that are captains for this tournament, and there's not one young Dallas guy that's a captain for this tournament in terms of one of the in terms of the same age as those ISO elite guys. So I do think that there is a big gap in skill coming up in the next generation.
That Dallas still possesses that size advantage though, and we can say that they're Houston was able to make up for it with guys like Abid and Cheyenne last tournament, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Shazam playing big, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I do think that is something they still possess, and that's something that is no matter the age, it's hard to overcome,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's just a pain in the ass to work around. And if you're talking about a skilled team, right, it takes the legs out of the shooters,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like to have to play up big on those guys. So whatever.
100%.
I mean, the reality is we're not going to know until that next tournament. But this is a nice kind of proving ground, kind of an in between tournament to see who they want to take, right? Who they want to take
100%.
into that next era.
100%. Because I don't want it sucks to always say, but Dallas needs players like Asad Megani. They need players like Raheem Himani. They need players like Zain Motani in order to win tournaments. And I'll say their most valuable player is Asad Megani on that team. And now he's in his mid-30s. We shouldn't be saying that right now. It should be a new generation of players that are coming up, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, listen. If he's still that guy, it is what it is, right?
He is. So that's what happened. That tournament in July, that HYL tournament, which Clutch City beat the Titans in.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't play in that tournament.
Right.
Then he came back for a December tournament. There was a different league that ran a tournament, which the Houston guys, Clutch City, ISO, all of them, actually Clutch City and ISO combined teams in this one. So you had Izan, Rakeen, all of them play with Shaniv, Shazim, and the rest of the Clutch City guys, and they lost to the Titans in the finals because that was a tournament that Asad came back in, and so that's just the way it is right now.
There's nothing. Hey, like I mentioned Neil Merchant on the last podcast, right? As that he was dominating until his late 30s, right? It is what it is, right? That sometimes it works out like that. Like if the guy is that talented, there's no shame in leaning on him for a long period of time, but you do have to have that transition piece because once Neil was gone, once he wasn't that guy anymore, there was a long transition period in Houston where Dallas took over, right? And if you're suggesting that that's about to happen when Asad isn't that guy anymore, I can see it. I hope that's not the case because I do want to see a competitive rivalry, right?
Yeah, no, I agree with.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is going to be a fun tournament, guys, and I feel like the post show is going to be really interesting to just in terms of what we're able to take away, right? Because I feel like we're doing a lot of guesswork right now, but once we get concrete data in, once we're able to see these teams perform, I think we'll have a lot to talk about.
Absolutely, I agree with you.
Absolutely. We're going to have the stats. We're going to have the film. We're going to be talking to the coaches, the scouts, learning the drama, learning the ins and outs of what's happening. So really looking forward to talking to you guys after it's over.
All right, guys. We'll talk to you guys after the tournament.
All right, brothers.